Alrighty then, let's get started with this week's edition of the Q&A. If you guys have questions for me for next week's edition, description box down below with all the details on how you can send me questions. And don't worry guys, for all those sending Ask FM questions, I'll get to them when I can get to them. Anyways, let's get started with the questions asked for this video. Johnny Russo kicks off this Q&A asking, when will Daniel Bryan's yes chants finally begin to fade? I don't know. I think they're like the what chants. I don't think the yes chants will ever fade. I think like fans will just start going yes, yes, yes if they're generally excited about something, anything at all. So I don't think the yes chants will ever fade. I think they'll stop being associated with just Daniel Bryan alone and be associated with most of the roster and the talents. And in fact, even today's wrestling, they're not mostly just associated with Daniel Bryan. Fans go yes, yes, yes for a lot of things they are happy about. So there you go. Charbonnier asks, porn star Mia Khalifa tried to recruit Braxton Miller to transfer to Florida State University. That's great. Is there a porn star / girl that could recruit you? Ooh, that's a great question. Is there a porn star or girl that could recruit me to go to a school? That's a really good question. At this point in time, I don't know, but I'll tell you what, you give me Sandra Bullock in The Blind Side, I might go anywhere, because she was hot in The Blind Side, so I'll have to say Sandra Bullock. Yeah, definitely Sandra Bullock, definitely in her prime, so Sandra Bullock in her prime would definitely get me to go to any type of school, but today's standards, probably Sasha Banks. RKO Legend asks, you thought you could avoid my question, ha ha, I'm back, and are you better than ever? Eric Bischoff, baby. Easy E. Who is in the top 3 in order best looking man in WWE in their prime? Now, here's the difference, though, RKO Legend. Last week, you were asking me about sexiest. This week, you're asking for best looking. There's totally different terms between sexy and best looking. So I can give you my top 3 best looking men in their prime. Number 3, John Cena. Number 2, Randy Orton. And number 1, The Rock. There you go. There's your answer for you, RKO Legend. I hope you are happy with that one. And I want to know, do you agree with me? Comment down below your thoughts, RKO Legend, or just tweet me. Do you agree with me, my top 3 best-looking men in their prime? Snowdrop asks, was Roman Reigns high when he cut that Jack and the Beanstalk promo on Raw? Hey, Vince, if you really want me to cut this shit, I gotta smoke this weed. Believe that. He could have been. Or it's just that Roman Reigns just can't really act at all, and that Roman Reigns cannot really give out the material that the WWE wants to give him out to. Because when I look at Roman Reigns, does he really scream like the type of guy that would give you little kid jokes? No, not really. I mean, I get it. He kind of looks like The Rock. He's cousins with The Rock and stuff like that, but doesn't mean you have to make him into the next Rock. Why can't he just be his own dude? He doesn't need to be corny or funny. The audience will like Roman Reigns just for being a badass. That's just the bottom line when it comes down to it. Like, giving him this type of material, giving him this type of shit of him like, oh, Jack and the Beanstalk, upward succotash. That's just hurting him. That's just making him the next John Cena, which is what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to avoid the new John Cena. And by giving him these kiddie promos and the way he's being currently booked now, yeah, that's just pretty much creating another John Cena, which is what we're trying to avoid. So he could have been high, but most likely I just think it's Roman Reigns' lack of acting skills. The Chase Allen asks, what do you think TNA should do in order to make themselves true competition? Competition to ROH? New Japan? We're going to be competition to WWE. Stop taping your shows would be the first step, for sure. I mean, they've already taped to what, February 12th? That's ridiculous. They already got Lockdown up there. They have like the Lockdown results for you to read. And Lockdown, I don't know, for you guys who are longtime TNA fans like myself, you got to say to yourself, why is Lockdown taped out of all flipping shows? If anything, that should be one of your live shows. Lockdown is one of your staple pay-per-views. Yes, the gimmick is flipping stupid. All steel cage matches, I give you that. But seriously, that's one of your staple shows with some of your best matches. And yet you tape that. And from what I've read, the only matches that seem interesting are, you know, freaking whatever, the Rebellion taking on the Hardys and delete the Lockdown match. The rest of the card looks like garbage. So stop taping your shows would be the first step. The other steps will come in due time, but If they want to be competition to other wrestling promotions like ROH and New Japan, stop taping your shows and giving it away in advance. The Shadow asks, why is X-Men Origins Wolverine such a shitty movie? I'll be honest here, Shadow. X-Men Origins Wolverine is one of my guilty pleasure movies. I don't think it's that bad. I mean, okay, taking my bias aside, it is a terrible fucking movie. But for my bias, it's a guilty pleasure movie for me. I enjoy watching X-Men Origins Wolverine. But I don't know, really. I think it's just bad because the special effects look like shit. Wolverine just seems to be all over the place in this movie. Like, they can't decide what to make Wolverine as a character in this movie. They're like, okay, Wolverine's a badass, but yet he is in love. He got his name because of the fucking moon and the wolf and the woo! Like, they try to add, like, so much backstory to Wolverine that it was just unbearable. And then also you fucked up, like, two popular characters associated with X-Men. I mean, Gambit was in the movie for what, all of like 5 minutes. He was like, yeah, guys, I'll help you get to the island, and deuces. Freaking Deadpool was ruined. They made Deadpool's mouth all shut up, and he had laser visions because of Cyclops. Yeah, they didn't even do anything with young Cyclops, and then like Emma was like freaking nothing in that whole movie. I forgot her last, Emma Frost. There we go. Emma Frost was nothing in that whole flipping movie. So like, really, to be honest, they just really didn't get Wolverine's character to the right T. They just made it where he was like, kind of like he was a lovable guy, but at the same time he was the same badass Wolverine that a lot of people like. But they tried to like mix those two together, which didn't work whatsoever. And they kind of ruined characters that a lot of X-Men fans like. Sorry if I couldn't speak there. The fake garbage man asks, is Adam Rose's bunny finally dead after Adam Rose murdered him with the teabag on the stairs? I hope so, but I doubt it. I'm pretty sure the bunny will return at the Royal Rumble doing this and fucking kicking Adam Rose and Tyson Kidd's ass. Like, fuck off. Hell, poor Cesaro. Like, what happened to Cesaro, man? Dude was supposed to be on the top by now. Supposed to be facing Lesnar. Instead, he's freaking facing the New Day with Adam Rose and Tyson Kidd. Like, fuck off. Oh, so sad. Chris Stark asks, do you think your boy Cockfist? Ha ha! Will they debut a new attire this year? Maybe trunks or tights? Not this year. I give him a couple years. Like, once he turns heel, then I see him changing up his attire. But for right now, since he's trying to run as a babyface, he doesn't need to change anything up. I think he's fine right now. Largest 85 asks, what if Marty Jannetty is a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble this Sunday? Oh, God. Is he cleared from rehab? And comes in at number 3 and wins it by eliminating Daniel Bryan. How will the IWC/YWC react? I think the newer fans would be confused and would be pissed off because they don't know who Marty Jannetty is. But I think older fans would actually be like, yes, finally Marty Jannetty is getting his damn push. I mean, if you think about it, you know, poor Marty Jannetty. If he only would have gotten his shit together in the first place, this guy could have at least been a decent hand with the WWE. A multiple-time Intercontinental Champion, like 4 to 5 at least. Maybe get one title shot against Shawn Michaels. But no, instead he decides to do drugs and fuck up. So I think a lot of older fans would be like, fuck yeah. I'm glad Marty Jannetty is finally getting this push. But I think the younger fans would be pissed off. Like, why are you giving an older guy like Marty Jannetty, who I don't even know anything about besides the fact that he teamed with Shawn Michaels, a shot at the title? I think older fans would appreciate that. So it would be a mixed response by the IWC. Some people would just laugh and think it's hilarious. I would be one of those people. I would come on here and laugh and be like, ha! Marty Jannetty the dead. Like, I would just laugh my fucking ass off. Johnny Russo, I'll answer your question in the next Q&A. Do remind me about that. Chi asks, when will Hideo Itami finally use the GTS, or at least the reversed GTS? Never. Never, ever, ever. Because they want to make sure people forget about CM Punk. Because sadly, even though Kenta, a.k.a. Hideo Itami, invented the move, it doesn't matter. Because once he gets to that main roster, he pulls out that GTS, the fans are going to chant, CM Punk! CM Punk! And the WWE is trying to avoid CM Punk as much as possible. And I know a lot of people are going to say, but Chase, at NXT TakeOver, Our Evolution, the fans know that Kenta had that move. This is the difference, people. At TakeOver Our Evolution, those are more hardcore wrestling fans that appreciate that shit. When you get into the bigger arenas, when there's more casual fans and more people who just go on the dirt sheets and don't know really that much shit about professional wrestling, they just read shit on the dirt sheet and they say, oh, I know about it. They'll start chanting CM Punk. It's different when you take guys from NXT onto the main roster because, you know, it's different fan bases. NXT fans are more hardcore compared to the most casual fans. Like, I guarantee you, like, you take away Kenta, you put him in, like, fucking Green Bay, Wisconsin, of all places. Are they going to think, oh, yeah, that's his move? No, they're going to think that's CM Punk's move. Just saying. So, that he'll never use it. It's a shame because he should be able to use it because it is his move. But thanks to CM Punk, yeah, he'll never happen. Reed19 asks, how would you book the ultimate WrestleMania main event to troll the typical IWC smarks? Oh, no Daniel Bryan? Oh, that's already a stab to the heart. Yeah, Daniel Bryan's not on the card. No Seth Rollins? Oh! And to make it even worse, to drive that dagger even deeper, no Dean Ambrose and no Dolph Ziggler. Oh, shit. Already this WrestleMania is the worst WrestleMania of all time to these IWC smarks because none of those four are going to be at WrestleMania. Instead, you know what my main event's going to be? John Cena versus Roman Reigns. 60-minute Iron Man match. Ooh! Could you imagine how pissed off the IWC would be knowing they would have to sit through 60 minutes of John Cena and Roman Reigns trying to wrestle with each other? Randy Orton versus Triple H. Final match ever. No one would like that. No one would like it. It would go 30 minutes, a bunch of kickouts from finishers. Oh, it'd be terrible. Batista versus Brock Lesnar. First 2 minutes of that match. Both men would be gassed out of their fucking minds. Ooh, what else could I add to this? No, I think people want to see Ryback versus Rusev. Kevin Nash versus Rusev, where Kevin Nash ends Rusev's streak. But this time, he doesn't use the taser. He uses a fucking pepper spray. Ryback versus Sin Cara. Why? Why the fuck not? I'm trying to piss off the IWC. If they're not already pissed off with the card I have right now, then Ryback versus Sin Cara is a good enough reason why you should be fucking pissed off about this. And then the ultimate fucking death punch that I'm going to send to them. Cameron versus Eva Marie for the Divas title. Falco Punch! Game over. Set. That doesn't piss you off as an IWC member. I don't know what will. Randy Orton versus Triple H for the final time. Joe Juicy asks, do you think Randy Orton is the best option to win the 2015 Royal Rumble? Joe, come on. Come on, man. Randy Orton is my favorite wrestler. So what do you think? Yes, he is. And if you want more details on that, check out my Royal Rumble 2015 predictions podcast that I did with Ace Wrestling Nut. You'll get more thoughts and insight there. Mr. Juicy asks, do you think Scott Steiner would date a fat girl if she was nice and had a good personality? No. Scott Steiner would never date a fat girl. Why? Because she's fat! Scott Steiner doesn't waste time with fat girls. So what if they're nice and they have a good personality? That ain't Scott Steiner's MO. No, he needs a nice skinny chick with a big double D and a big fucking ass. Why? Because he's fucking Scott Steiner. Red Wolf 316 asks, what was your favorite comic book issue you have read from DC's New 25? I haven't read any of DC's stuff yet, man. I'm more of a Marvel guy, Red Wolf 316. But if you have a suggestion, like I heard Aquaman was pretty good. I actually heard good stuff about Aquaman. If you have a suggestion for a DC comic for me to check out, man, tell me and I'll check it out. But I probably will read Aquaman soon because I've heard Aquaman was pretty cool. Clarkson Lopez says, happy birthday, Chase. Oh, thank you, belated birthday. And why have you stopped making Raw reviews? It's not like I ever cared to watch Raw and listen to reviews. I'm curious as to why you stopped since you have been reviewing Raw for a long time. Oh, here's the thing, Clarkson. The reason being why I was stopped making Raw reviews for a while was just because I was kind of like getting used to school and work schedule, and that was kind of the main reason why I stopped making Raw reviews. I still watched it. I just didn't have time to sit down and record and film a video on Monday Night Raw. So that's just pretty much it. I'm probably going to be back into slew of things of making Raw reviews again in my channel. I made one last week. The Gochi Man asks, would you be excited to watch a last time match between John Cena and Randy Orton at the main event of WrestleMania? For me, the match would give me zero interest to watch WrestleMania 31. I would only watch that just to hear the fans' reactions. Don't get me wrong, I love Orton to death. But him versus Cena again, oh God. That would be terrible. But just to hear the fans' reactions to this fucking match and them chanting Daniel Bryan or Iron Sheik or something, that would be great. Matt Gochi asks, why is Bullseye one of your favorite comic book villain characters? I said that he's one of my favorite underrated comic book villain characters. He's not one of my favorites of all time. I just find him entertaining. The writers for Bullseye normally get him right. He seems like a slick persona, always sarcastic towards Deadpool, so that's why I like Bullseye. It's just that he's very serious at what he does, but the way that he's written is just very interesting to me. It's always fun to read a Bullseye quote, so that's why. Jake Loomis asks, which Raw main event sounds more interesting? Another John Cena versus Randy Orton match, or a segment with Tito Ortiz crossing his arms in the middle of the ring getting zero reaction? Tito Ortiz. Is that even a question, Jake? Come on, man. Why would I want to suffer through John Cena and Randy Orton doing the same 5 moves against each other when I can watch Tito Ortiz and Monday Night Raw doing this? And no one giving a shit. Of course, but Tito wins all the time. Oh, yes, my favorite. The ultimate WWE apologist. How awesome is the WWE right now? I like what they're doing for the WWE Heavyweight title match. But other than that, not really all that awesome. Greg Toomer asks, what was the one burial in wrestling that pissed you off? Oh, so many burials. I would have to say the one that pissed me off the most was Triple H's burial on Randy Orton at WrestleMania 25. That one pissed me the fuck off. Because it was like Randy Orton was finally getting hot as a heel. It was like he was getting good traction as a character after just being boring and doing nothing for a while. Here's Randy Orton winning the Royal Rumble. Here's Legacy getting a big rub off of this. Here's Randy Orton doing all this fucking cool shit. But at the end, it was all about the game and how you play it. All about control. If you can't take it. Fucking Triple H just fucking buried him. It made me stop watching wrestling for a while. I'm not going to lie. So that was definitely my burial that pissed me off the most, for sure. Josh Chambers asked, what are some of your favorite technical wrestling matches in wrestling history? Brett versus Bulldog at SummerSlam, that's a great one. Brett versus Perfect at the SummerSlam before, 91, that was a great one. I like Pegasus Kid versus Kurt Angle at Royal Rumble 2003. Yeah, that's my new name for that individual, is Pegasus Kid. Pegasus Kid versus Kurt Angle at Royal Rumble 2003. That was a fucking great one. That was the only reason why Pegasus Kid got the push that he got in 2003 and winning the Rumble at 2004. So that would be one of them. Other ones that I really like. Bret and Shawn never really had technical matches. They kind of just had different styles. Bret versus Owen at WrestleMania 10. That was a really, really good technical match. And I'll even say, to a degree, Daniel Bryan versus Triple H at WrestleMania 30 was a pretty damn technical match, if I do say so myself. So those would be some of my favorite technical wrestling matches in history. Or if you want me to go Ring of Honor, Nigel McGuinness versus Daniel Bryan, countless times that they've wrestled. So there you go. Slapnuts 2000 asks, if you were insulted by any wrestler, who would you want it to be? Batista. Why? Because I know he would give a good comeback, and I would just have to deal with it. So Batista. Rebecca Olsen asks, what was the worst song you heard this year? In my opinion, I thought it was Nicki Minaj's Anaconda was the worst I've heard this year. Yeah, Anaconda was pretty fucking bad. Oh, God, what was that? I'm trying to think of like the worst song I've heard this year. Probably that Macklemore song where he's talking about like something about I wrote in my freaking diary that I was queer or something like that. Even if I wanted to, nama keeps me on. Like that song just annoyed me the hell a lot. Or what was that one? You can do it, all those lights. Like, goddamn. Just because you made Hall of Fame doesn't mean you can make the same song but with different lyrics. Like, fuck off, script. I think the script wrote that song. I don't know who did, but that song's very annoying too. The Real Heel asks, would you be interested in watching a Shazam movie? Yeah, of course. Shazam's a fucking awesome superhero. In fact, they're going to make a Shazam movie. And guess who's going to be in it? The Rock. So if I wasn't already interested to see a Shazam movie, my interest got 10 times better because one of my favorite wrestlers of all time is going to be in it. So yes, I will be interested in watching a Shazam movie. It's not going to come out till 2019, but yeah, I'm interested in it. Because Shazam's interesting, man. Like, he's a little kid that turns into a fucking Superman. That's amazing. It's like every little kid's dream. Jay Walker asked, which WWE video game did you like better? SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 or Day of Reckoning 2? Oh, SmackDown vs. Raw 06. Because Day of Reckoning 2 had that stupid steel cage match that was fucking cheap unless you knew that you had to use William Regal's running knee to win that fucking match. And not only that, Triple H and Edge would reverse everything in Day of Reckoning 2. I like SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. I thought it was a cool game. John Cool asked, if you were a mutant, then what would your mutant powers would you want? Oh, if I was a mutant like I was an X-Men? My mutant powers would be shadow matter. You could choose into X-Men Destiny games. You can teleport, you could have blades that come out of nowhere, and you can turn invisible, and you turn into a fucking demon that can fly. That sounds awesome to me. Master Nobody 30 asked, Chauvenir. Trying to get two questions. Did you ask me a question earlier? Yes, you did. But now you're using it on your YouTube account. So is that fair? You know what? You know what, Chauvenir? Just because we've been friends for a while, I'll let it slide for this time. Oh, you asked me the same question. Okay, never mind. It's cool. It's cool. We're fine. Bill Bradford asks, what if Eli Manning's postseason greatness and Peyton Manning's regular season greatness were combined? How many Super Bowls would you see them winning if that happened? Oh, shit, dude. 4. Had to be like at least 4, maybe 5. Like I could see it where he shows like the old Peyton Manning, like, you know, Peyton Manning just chokes a little bit because you can't just get Eli Manning's postseason greatness fully to Peyton Manning. He has to have at least one bad Super Bowl to the point where we kind of question him and wonder if his career's over. Then he just comes back out of nowhere and fucking throws 5 touchdowns and wins that Super Bowl MVP again. So at least 4 to 5. I would say 4 being the correct number, but 5 being the most maximum. Oh, that quarterback would be fucking unstoppable. But the question also I have for you, Bill Bradford, is which team are you going to put this quarterback on? Are you going to put it on the Colts teams? Or are you going to put it on the Giants teams or the recent Bronco teams? That's the question I have for you because, like, you know, each team had their positives and their negatives. So which one would you put them on? I would personally say those Giants teams. Like, for me, I think if you put Peyton on those Giants teams and you had Eli's postseason greatness, shit, dude, game over. Lino Gino asks, what if on Kingdom Hearts 3 they made for the first time ever a transgender character? Would that be controversial since it's a Disney game? And how would you feel about it? Say it's a villain and you battle him or her. If it's a villain, I don't think that would be really that weird. Because if you think about it, Disney's kind of perverted, man. So Disney would kind of be like, oh, this is fucking hilarious. No one would get this shit. So I don't think it would be that controversial. It would be controversial in the media. Let's just face it. The media likes to freaking overhype anything. Like, I could eat an apple. They'll be like, Chase just ate a fucking apple. And there was apple stuff in his teeth and all that other stuff. So I don't think it would be that controversial. If anything, I think Disney would be down with that shit. They always have weird characters. And if you think about it, sometimes Disney does have characters where you don't really know if they're a boy or a girl sometimes. You know, they do kind of sometimes do that anime type of stuff. So really, to be honest, I don't think I would put it past Disney to have a transgender type character. And if it was a villain, it would be kind of interesting. What world would he be part of? I don't know, but it would be kind of interesting. Shororo Horror asks, what if Daniel Bryan turned heel and joined Authority? How would you feel about it? Oh, God. I would lose all hope in professional wrestling if that happened. Hey, you know the guy that everyone likes? Let's pair him up with Triple H. That makes fucking sense. We didn't just waste a year and a half trying to tell him that he sucks and he's a B+ player. No, we actually wanted him the whole time. Oh, that'd just be fucking terrible. Like, I'm not the biggest Daniel Bryan fan in the world, but even I can understand that this dude is a babyface, thick and thin in the WWE, just because of the way WWE books him. But you had this guy join the Authority? What the fuck? That'd just be stupid. I would just hate it. Lace Up Graveyard asks, what if Seth Rollins wins at the Royal Rumble and cashes in his Money in the Bank contract on himself and has a 5-star match against himself? I would pay to fucking see that. Could you imagine Seth Rollins trying to wrestle against himself? Oh no, he's going for the comeback. I would pay to see that Lace Up Graveyard. Not fucking kidding. Like, if that was like literally like, you know, because the Royal Rumble undercard, it sucks dick. But then later on, you just have it where Seth Rollins wins the title and he's like, I'm cashing in on myself. Yeah. Now the question is, if Seth Rollins, who cashed in the Money in the Bank, beats Seth Rollins, does that make him a 2-time WWE champ? That's the only problem with this plan, Lace Up Graveyard, but I'm down for it. That'd be fucking hilarious. I always like when wrestling does something innovative. Like, you know that one episode where Triple H said that he could wrestle a mop and put on a better performance than most wrestlers? Fuck, I kind of wish that he did that. That would have been fucking amazing TV. RFV089 asks, do you think back in 2002 when WWE tried to cover up Stone Cold Steve Austin's incident where he beat his wife, that Vince McMahon called up Jimmy Snuka and asked him how to perform a successful cover-up? Oh, RFP089. You love that Jimmy Snuka incident. I love that you love it, but you always, like, I think every question you've asked me so far, Jimmy Snuka has been brought up at least once. I don't think Vince called up Jimmy Snuka because back then, like, NBA players were also beating up their wives. So it's kind of easy. Like, Vince probably called up some of the coaches, like, hey, how'd you cover up Jason Kidd beating up his wife? So, you know, back then it was like a much more different times. Like, Austin wouldn't get away with this shit like he did in 2002. If, like, this shit happened today, oh, there would be, like, cameras in, like, his toilet or something that caught the action. So, I just think it was just back then the media wasn't available to catch Austin doing the act. Pielto Nilton asks, what is more likely to happen? Pegasus Kid coming back from the depths of hell and winning the Royal Rumble? Or TDOT's getting a reaction for the first time ever? Or John Cena turning heel? Those are so unlikely. But since Pegasus Kid is dead, he can't come back from hell to win the Rumble again. Tito Ortiz will never get a fucking reaction because no one gives a shit. So it has to be Cena turning heel. That is the most likely to happen out of the three. That was great though, man. Draven G asks, what are your thoughts on WWE deciding to have NXT TakeOver 4 place in February instead of March? Smart decision by the WWE, because why in the blue hell would you want TakeOver to overshadow WrestleMania, especially with the mindset of today's fans? If you think about it, it's just, you know, you have your TakeOver event before WrestleMania, and let's just say it's like, you know, the Thursday before WrestleMania, which would be in March anyways. It would kind of overshadow what WrestleMania is supposed to be about, that big show, because a lot of the IWC fans, let's face it, they would tend to overrate that TakeOver show and decredit WrestleMania. Unless Daniel Bryan's in the fucking main event against Brock Lesnar. That's the only way TakeOver could never overshadow fucking WrestleMania. But that's just the bottom line when it comes down to it, because most of the fans would just overrate what TakeOver 4 would put out there. That's just the truth when it comes down to it. I mean, don't get me wrong, have the TakeOver events have been good to great? Yes, absolutely. But if you're the WWE and you know that these fans are going to freaking put this on a higher pedestal than your greatest show of the year, and that's your developmental brand, why take that fucking risk? So I think it's the smartest decision they have made in a while, man, in all honesty. Little Fish asks, did you see Terrence Fishface Terrell getting hit in the face with a basketball game by Will Ferrell for a movie? Did she really get it by a real basketball? Are you talking about semi-pro? Was she in semi-pro? Oh, I didn't know she was in semi-pro at all, man. I think that's the movie you're talking about. That's the only one I can actually think of with Will Ferrell playing basketball. Probably she didn't really get hit in the face at all because, one, I don't think she can act worth a damn. So they probably had a stunt double take it for sure. Or a little person at least. So no, I don't think she took the ball to the face. I love Watermelon 525 asks, did you see Triple H give a kid a pat on the head when the little kid was crying, which made H break character as a heel and hug the kid? Yep, and it disappointed me, man. I get it. You should make the kid happy and all. It's cool that Triple H did that, but why do it on TV for fuck's sake? Can't you do it after the show? Even then, it's just like, what happened to Triple H, man? Like, Triple H used to be the dude that was all about fucking not giving a shit about the fans at all. And yeah, he made a little kid cry, and he's freaking all hugging him. Like, what? Is that what I need to do? Do I need to go to a WWE event and be like, and will Triple H do the same shit to me? I mean, seriously, I'm just saying, man. That to me, that's just dumb because, like, you know, Triple H, you're supposed to be the best heel in the company. I get it. You did it for a PR move, which is a smart PR move on Triple H's behalf. But overall wise, it's like, dude, you're like the fucking heel. You're like the best heel in the company. This should be giving you heel heat. You should be going more to that kid space. And if anything, it's like, you know, people are going to say, what a dick by Triple H by doing that. But it's not like Triple H is hitting the kid. He's just doing what heels did in the past. I mean, remember when Ted DiBiase kicked the ball away from the kid? Did Ted DiBiase break character afterwards and be like, oh, I'm sorry, kid. Here's your $100. Like, no. Just saying, man. That's just good heel heat. So I didn't like it. I mean, good PR move, good move overall by Triple H. It shows that he's a good person. But when it comes to being a wrestler and being in character, that's who you are. From your job hours, from 5 to 8, whenever the fuck you end WWE, your job is to be in character. That's just me. If it was a dark show thing, cool. But the thing is, he did it during the fucking match, which pissed me off. Final Limits asks, what are your thoughts on those wrestling troll guys like CM Puke 101 and others who say my Ryback is a legend and CM Punk sucks? There's also a new guy called Mr. Swaggy, favoring Swagger. I've seen those guys a couple of times. They're funny. Like, they're not trying to be malicious. Like, it's the trolls that are really, really fucking malicious that are just, like, annoying. But it's just, like, the guy at least posts the same thing, and he's very consistent, and some other people seem to enjoy his presence. Like, he at least gets, like, 100 thumbs up. Like, I've seen this guy post, and it's like, people love what he says. He's like, CM Punk sucks. My Ryback is a legend. Goldberg sucks. Ryback rules. Like, he's being fun with it. He's not being malicious whatsoever when it comes down to it. So as long as it's that type of troll, that's what I'm good with. It's the trolls that are very malicious, where it's just to the point where it's like, come on, you don't need to be that malicious. Like, if he was saying, like, AJ Lee needs to die or something like that, then it's like, okay, come on. That's a little bit too far. But he's just saying someone sucks and someone else is better. So I'm fine with that. And Ferris Caddick ends this long Q&A asking, what if all those John Cena clones from WrestleMania 25 are actually his army and he is just waiting to form his own land and attack, bury every nation in the world? God. Could you imagine a world ruled by John Cena? This is how you greet people. Make sure you run like this. Oh, God. That is a horrific thing to think about. Man, John Cena would stop at nothing. That would be crazy, man. Like the logo would be like hustle, loyalty, respect, never give up, individuals, and John Cena's universe. Oh, Jesus, dude. Just thinking about that, like, literally hurts my brain. Because it scares me because it could happen. John Cena could take over this world. He would bury every single one of us. We would try to stop it, but he would just come in, politics somehow, and we would be like, wait, what the fuck are you saying? And then he would do the 5 moves of doom, and it's all over for us. I don't want to see Attack of the Clones. That'd be terrible. Oh, God. That was a sour note to end the Q&A. I'm sorry, guys. Blame Ferris for thinking about John Cena clones destroying the universe and burying us all. It's kind of funny if you think about it. That could be a good parody movie, too, if WWE was smart enough to do that. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching this video. Check out me and Ace's Royal Rumble predictions. That should be up already. Sorry about this Q&A being a little bit later. Just working all this other stuff. In fact, I'm heading out to work right now. So hopefully this will be uploaded later tonight. If it's really late, just watch it Sunday morning. And stay tuned for the Royal Rumble review. Anyways, guys, enjoy your day. Peace!